older days, how would people actually pay for services? I'm talking of a very old era. People would either exchange goods or services if they wanted to pay for certain items. I'm talking of a prehistorical era. From then on, we have seen the evolution of currency in some form or the other. In certain cases, maybe it was stones or certain gems. And then, eventually, over a period of time, we've had multiple currencies evolve in different nations. And over the last few years, we've had electronic or payment wallets also come up. But I'm going to tell you something about Bitcoins. How many of you have heard of Bitcoin? Wow, that's a nice number. Good, I'm glad you're all at least in the know of what's going on. Hopefully I'll be able to give you some more perspective by way of my experience as a small Bitcoin investor, and then also in terms of what it might hold for you all. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, there is something you should know about Bitcoin. This has no form. It's not tangible. It's not physical. It's not a coin you can hold in your hand. It's completely electronic. There is no middleman involved. If I have to normally do a transaction online, I would either go through a bank or a payment gateway and then do the transaction. So there is my bank that is involved, there is maybe Visa, MasterCard or American Express, and then there is the gateway. But in the case of Bitcoin, it is just a peer-to-peer transaction. This is what we call, in terms of a distributed way of exchanging value for services. How did this whole thing get started? The origin of Bitcoin started sometime in the year 2009, and it is attributed to a person who remains an enigma. People believe it was a pseudonym, and it's a Japanese name, Sanjin. I'm trying to remember the whole name, but yeah, so he's good at remembering that. And this person, not many people have met him. And he faded away into oblivion after 2 years. But the legacy continues, the software that he developed, and then we've seen several variants of that continue to be in use today. What's the whole hype about Bitcoin? Why Bitcoin? Why need a different currency? Think of this as a cryptocurrency, a currency where you did not need to bank on an intermediary or a third-party intermediary in that sense. Today you can do transactions around the world. It's a 24/7, just like email. If you think of email and if you think of postal mail, what would you do today? Email. And why? Because it's ubiquitous, it's faster, anytime, anywhere. And think of Bitcoin in the same league. If you invested $100 in Bitcoin about 7 years ago, you'd be sitting on top of $75 million. I'm not kidding. $75 million for a $100 investment. $100 investment I'm talking about is maybe 7,000 rupees 7 years ago, and $75 million. I was intrigued by this because I tend to follow some trends in technology. I'm also looking after some of this as part of my work in terms of blockchain and Bitcoin. And I said, let me try and invest in one Bitcoin. And this was less than 6 months ago. It was still ridiculously expensive by my standard. I said, and instead of putting aside some money in an FD, I put about 70,000 rupees for one Bitcoin. Today, that investment in less than 6 months has grown by about 300%. 70,000 rupees has translated to almost 2.25 lakhs. all that was done was a transaction using a mobile app. And in India, there's one or two players. This one is called ZepPay. And you can just go through authentication, you can go through verification. Some analysts are predicting that a single Bitcoin might rise as high as $500,000 to $1 million in 5 or 10 years. Obviously, there's a lot of controversy around this. You may not be aware, but a lot of, I would say, hackers, people who are creating cyber attacks, what we call the dark web, they are asking for Bitcoins as a currency for ransom. Anyone work for Wipro here? No. Wipro received its second threat in so many weeks. And the person who is attacking them has asked for a ransom to be paid in Bitcoin currency. What makes it so unique? A, there's only limited coins in circulation. There's only about 20 million Bitcoins in circulation. So whenever something is in scarcity, there is a pent-up demand for it. And then I told you the other reasons in terms of the anytime, anywhere access. Japan today has created a regulation that allows retailers to accept Bitcoins. Dell, that I was working for and now bought out by NTT Data, accepts Bitcoins for purchase of computers. More and more retailers are beginning to accept Bitcoins. Yes, it's not straightforward. It's not something that I would advocate for the faint of heart. There's a certain risk, but then risks and rewards go together. But I can tell you with conviction, it is possibly the single fastest growth that I have seen in any form of trading. Most investments will fetch you anywhere from 20 to 30% year on year generally, unless you do technical analysis. But Bitcoins, they're here to stay. There's obviously some new legislation that's going on. But for those of you who are interested, you can still do fractional investments. Stay wise. It could be very well the panacea to all your retirement goals or to all your other expenses. Thank you.